All right, thanks, Chris, Kirsten, and Barry. We have a few questions from the audience. I'm going to throw out about 10 minutes or so for questions. I'm going to try to get in as many as possible. So one of the questions that comes from a student in our audience is OPOWER currently working with commercial buildings, or particularly tenants in the commercial space?
That's a great question. OPOWER currently focuses on residential deployments. Of the 50 utilities that we have nationwide, all of them are focused on residential deployments. There are a couple of reasons for that. The company was founded to remove kind of the black box of energy consumption for residential account holders, households who get an electric bill every month, understand that having the lights on drives up electricity, but really don't understand where their usage is going or what they can do to improve necessarily. So we are focused on the residential sector, which is also the sector where there's the greatest ability to do pure comparisons and motivate people through behavioral science. We are doing a couple of pilots with some of our partners on small business deployments. Same principles, but comparing similar businesses to similar businesses and benchmarking their energy use. We are not deployed with any commercial or industrial clients today.
Okay. Thank you for that. Another question comes regarding privacy. Now, a lot of people are concerned about their data coming through. What sort of safeguards do you handle in terms of the privacy of the data since you are working directly with utilities?
Oh, that's a good question. Let me turn this one over to Barry, actually. He's more of an expert on our data privacy.
Sure. So this is an excellent question, and OPOWER is very diligent in maintaining strict confidentiality about all the customer data that we draw upon to create our home energy reports. The energy usage data that we receive comes directly from the utility companies that we work with, and we sign a very comprehensive and secure agreement with them to maintain the privacy of all the information we're receiving. A lot of the other information we draw upon, such as the square footage of people's homes and how many occupants live in the homes, that is all publicly available data that is coming from county records, tax assessors' offices, census-related data that OPOWER goes out and purchases, but that is public data. We do not share it. We use it strictly for the purposes of this program. But yeah, we take intensive precautions to make sure any individual's data is strictly confined to them and their home energy analysis.
Okay, great. Another question comes regarding real-time data. I know that OPOWER focuses on sort of month-end reports and not providing instantaneous data, whereas other companies are looking at that space. Sort of why that is and how has that affected the effectiveness of your program?
So the rollout of these smart meters has given a lot of excitement across the entire electric industry about the opportunity to disaggregate usage, take in more data, and provide that data back to consumers in a way that's exciting and meaningful. If you think about the number of data reads that many utilities have taken for residences, traditionally it's 12 a year. They take one reading a month. In some cases it's a bi-monthly reading. They take 6 readings a year. If you think about switching to interval data reads, it's not going to be 12 reads a year. It's going to be 35,000 reads a year. Some people believe that households want to see all 35,000 reads. OPOWER does not believe that most households have the interest or capacity to process 35,000 pieces of data on their energy consumption. We think what's most important is deriving the insight from your usage. Rather than showing you what your usage was 10 minutes ago and comparing it to right now and having you derive in your head what the change was, We just want to find the biggest changes, whether it's an inefficient AC or an old refrigerator, and give that insight to you. We like to say that energy efficiency is powerful and it's interesting, but it's not sexy. And we don't think that when people go on Facebook, what they want to talk about is their energy use. They want to talk about their friends' vacation photos and things like that. So that's a roundabout way of saying we believe that power is really in the disaggregated usage and insight rather than real-time data. However, we know that for a small subset of the population who are very interested or who have a engineering background, they do want that real-time data. They want the ability to download their data and analyze it themselves. It's very important for those people who are interested. If they're going to spend all the time to go online, find that data, and try to analyze it, then it should be there for them. So while OPOWER does not believe that real-time data will lead to substantial behavior change, we are committed to working with our utility partners to provide that real-time data. Usually we do it in a 24-hour delay just so the data can be validated and processed before going to the customer so they don't see any sort of wacky usage charges or billing. All that gets cleaned up before the customer sees it. But that is our approach to real-time data. We favor insight over, we say insight trumps data, I guess.
Actually, this question is for Kirsten. For the UI program, I know it's sort of early days, just started, but have you gotten any anecdotal responses from customers? How are they taking it? What are people saying about the program so far?
Sure. Well, we have had a few customers that have called us. They don't understand who their neighbor is sometimes. They want to know more about that. Sometimes, Barry was mentioning some of the data that we have that's inputted in there. Sometimes the assessor data, the square footage of a home may not be correct, but what's been really nice is having the ability to use the customer service application, and I've been able to change that, or our customer service representatives have been able to change that, and it immediately is reflected on the website. I noticed I'm a part of the pilot myself, and so I changed my square footage, and it worked very well, and then thus I will be compared to the correct neighbors. So if I only have, let's say I have 700 square feet in my home, but it actually says I have 1,400. Oh, I'm not going to be charged. I'm not going to be compared to the right people. So those are the types of questions that we've gotten. Almost every single one has been a nice. By the end of it, I've had a couple people saying, "Well, thanks for including me in your pilot." So that's been really lovely. It's also been nice because we've gotten repeat visitors to the Smart Living Center, which we really like to get visitors in there to see hands-on what energy use is like. So they've brought their reports in and have come and talked to us about their reports, and that face-to-face communication is ideal.
I guess this will be the
last question. One question that a lot of people have asked are sort of what percentage of the behavior-based savings are seen after 6 months, a year? It seems like it's sort of instantaneous, 2 years. Can you talk about how you verify those savings?
Sure. This is Chris, and that is a great question about our M&V methodology. I'll try to go through it quickly. By the way, if you have any follow-up questions for any of the three of us, please feel free to email us. Feel free to visit opower.com or sign up for our newsletter. And Kristen, what was the energy? The website?
Oh, the website is uinet.com/energy reports.
Okay, uinet.com/energy reports if you're interested. And we'll send out a follow-up email with more information about OPOWER and the Connecticut Efficiency Fund. But to get back to this question, the way that we actually measure our savings is that we run large-scale experimental design. So imagine, for instance, that OPOWER has a city where we're going to deploy 40,000 households on home energy reports. We will identify a population of 80,000 households that in aggregate have statistically identical energy usage over the course of the last 2 years. We will then randomly divide those into the test and control populations so that those two subsegments are statistically identical. The only change going forward throughout the program is that one set of the households will receive the reports on a monthly or bi-monthly basis. The other set of households will not. So they will continue to experience the same economy, the same weather, the same social trends. The only difference is the reports. And so we measure the difference in consumption between the test and the control on an ongoing basis every month to determine what the percentage savings is. Our longest running deployment to date, I believe, is 34 months. And what we see in most of our deployments is an initial ramp-up period from the first 3 to 6 months, and then a steady state of savings between 2 and 3% that fluctuates by season, meaning that in areas where there's a hot summer, people save the most in the summer, where the areas where there's a very cool winter, like Minnesota, they save the most in the winter. And then we see seasonal variation with a slight uptick in results improving over time. As I mentioned, our longest deployment is 34 months. We've seen some of our strongest results in the last 12 months of that program. And so the way that we know that people are continuing to save is that we continue to monitor their consumption as compared to the control group over time. We'll be publishing the results hopefully later this year of the first 3 years of that program.
Thanks, Chris, for that. And that concludes the talk by Kirsten Brooks, Gary Fisher, and Chris Corcoran on behavioral energy efficiency. We'd like to thank our panelists for joining us this afternoon. This talk will be made available through the Blueprint for Efficiency channel on YouTube. If you'd like a copy of the presentation, please visit the website of the Center for Business and the Environment at Yale. The presentation will be under the Carbon Finance Speaker Series for this particular talk. We will continue to develop and delve into technology, business models, and finance and policy options as the weeks progress. Please join us for another talk in our series this coming Thursday, March 24th at 12 p.m. entitled Energy in Your Community, Boosting Demand and Expanding Retrofit Programs. We look forward to your continued participation. We thank you all for joining us for Blueprint for Efficiency, part of the Carbon Finance Speaker Series at Yale. This is Rasha Kaman from the Center of Business and the Environment at Yale, saying so long from New Haven, Connecticut.